have compiled sort of the 10 oldest players in Super League, so I thought we'd have a little look at them and sort of give our opinions on them, see what we think, and take it from there, really. So we'll do it like bloody, what is it, top of the pops used to be. In at number 10. Right, so Elliot Whitehead back at Catalan Dragons. We'll get on to Elliot Whitehead in a minute, actually, because we're going to be talking about Catalan Dragons. So briefly, Elliot Whitehead, what are your thoughts?
Do you know, Elliot Whitehead was always one of my favourite players. Well, still is. He's still playing, isn't he? He's not dead, But yeah, definitely one of my favourite players. I loved watching him play at Canberra. I loved it when he played for England. I don't remember too much about when he was at Catalan the first time, but I'm really excited about seeing Elliot Whitehead, and I think we, in the international series last year, you and I was talking a little bit about Elliot Whitehead, saying he's perhaps just lost it a little bit, and then funny old thing, he retired from international rugby that year. I'm hoping this gives him a little spark, and he just becomes the Elliot Whitehead of old, and really lays down a platform there at Catalan Dragons.
He's a no nonsense player, isn't he, Elliot Whitehead? He's got that like scruffy, like wears his socks down. He's always he's never had a clean shave. He's just a bit rugged, isn't he? But he does a job, and I think for a player in the pack, he can still do that job if he's playing like second row or whatever. I think he's still got enough grit and determination about him. He's never been the fastest player on the pitch. He's just a hard worker. He reminds me a bit of a Jamie Peacock, to be honest with you.
I thought you were going to say a bit like you, Craig, but obviously not.
No. Never in the same sentence as that ever happened before. Right, number 9.
No, I am scruffy. Like sometimes.
Right, I thought you were going to say like
the playing credentials.
Yeah, you were hardworking. I'll definitely give you that. Jordan Rapana. Age 35, 2-year deal with Hull FC, coming from the Gold Coast Titans. Don't know a whole lot about him, if I'm being honest with you.
No, he was in the Canberra era, same as Elliot Whitehead. So, I used to watch him as well, and I was always really impressed with him. When he was on the pitch, he always made an impression, always worked really hard. So another really interesting player for this coming season. And again, another one that I think he could set the league alight. Whether he does or not,
I'm not so sure. To me, this stinks of NRL player, back end of his career, not going to get a gig in the NRL. I'll come to Super League. Who can I play for? Hull FC are pretty diabolical. They'll have me. I'll play for Hull FC. Get another 2 years rugby league under my belt. I don't think he's going to set the world alight in Super League. I don't think he's been doing a whole lot in the NRL. So, yeah. Right. Mr. Tomkins in at 8. Mr. Sam Tomkins going round again next year. What do we make of his season last year, having come out of retirement?
Do you know what? One thing we need in rugby league is good stories, and it was definitely a great story. It was sad that he hurt himself, didn't he?
Yeah, got injured a couple of games quickly, didn't he?
But I think when he like stepped out onto the pitch, having come out of retirement, everybody was watching, and we need that, all right? So, and I know there's these questions over, like, it just seems to be like the official sometimes, or the fourth official on the pitch sometime, you know what I mean? Like he's sticking his nose in places where it's not always wanted. But yeah, it's an interesting story. I think he can still play. He's obviously not the same player that he was in his younger days, but he's good enough to fit into any team. He's obviously got lots of experience. He can change games. He can really change games, and he's definitely one of those players where other teams they've got to account for him. Like, they can't just think, oh, he's Sam Tomkins, he's freaking a granddad now. Well, don't worry about him, because he'll make you look foolish still.
Yeah, I think Catalan needed him last year. When he came out of retirement last year, Catalan needed him. They'd lost 2 decent halfbacks. They didn't have much direction on the pitch. And they suffered, didn't they, the Catalan this year? There was no structure to the team, I didn't think. So when he came back from retirement, I think that's what the aim of him was. It was he's kind of taking like a coaching role on now, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he was coaching on the pitch, sort of, almost. I don't know if it's a good move next year for Catalan. I can't look at him and sort of say he's a player that's going to win him a grand final next year. So I do think he's probably too old now, and he's probably had too many injuries. He can definitely give him a bit of direction, but they have got Luke Carey coming in, who should do that for them anyway. So I'm on the fence with Sam Tomkins. Great player back in his day. Certainly knows his way around a rugby league field. Whether I think he's going to make any difference next year is questionable, I think.
I mean, one of the things that springs to mind with Sam Tomkins is like the commercial arrangements around it. Like I don't know, and we probably never will know, and maybe shouldn't know. It's a very private thing. But I just wonder, like, is he being paid as a player, as a coach, as a player coach? You know what I mean? It's like to account for a player like that on your salary cap just seems like you're almost losing a space.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the coaching staff, wasn't he? So, who knows? It could be a bit of both. But do you think we'll see him as a head coach in a couple of years' time?
Yeah, I think so. I think his brother Joel is heading that way into. He's getting more and more into coaching and all that kind of stuff. So I think he'll have a head coaching position at some point. But I think before that, he's got a lot of punditry. I mean, he's on every freaking screen, isn't he? And if they can get Sam Tomkins on, they just seem to get him on. So, and actually, I think he does a good job as a pundit. He's very...
Yeah, he's good as a pundit, 100%.
But it's like John Wilkin, like, you're going to get some controversy from him and some honesty, but sometimes it can be scathing. Whereas Sam Tomkins, you get honesty, but it don't cut as deep. It's like very, it's not as kind of almost... I don't know, rude. It's not as rude sometimes.
Yeah, Wilkin just kind of a bit clickbaity, isn't he? It's like he just says it just to get the headlines. Like, oh, I want my name in paper this week. What am I going to say this week? Whereas, Tomkins gives a bit of more of an honest assessment. I think we're going off the fucking boil a little bit here, but yeah, good point.
No, I'm not going off the boil. I think we're going off the story.
Yeah, we're off the story.
We're still interested. All right, carry on. Next one.
At 7, like, this guy, I can't wait to see him playing in Super League. Waerea-Hargreaves, age 35. But he definitely has still got it. He's definitely not coming over here for a payday. And he won't take a backward step. So I can't wait to see him in a Hull KR shirt next year.
But it also stinks of like Herman SASA. You know what I mean? Like last year, he was like branded up as this big enforcer going to arrive at Hull and just like kick everyone's head in. And he spent no time on the pitch because he got more cards than freaking Father Christmas. So, hopefully people will target him too much and he'll keep his head and we'll see him on the pitch doing the stuff that he's great at. But yeah, dead exciting. Can definitely cut it.
Who do you want to see him go up against? Like from a rival side, like who do you think's going to butt heads with him?
That's a great question. Right, I've got an answer for that. Right, I want to see him go up against John Bateman. Right.
If he's got a club, right, go on.
Yeah, well, no, and this is what we're going to talk about later on in the show. We're going to talk about John Bateman and where he might end up and who would have him. But I just want to, because John Bateman doesn't take a backward step and he will rile players. And so you always want to see like that. This is going to be interesting. You know what I mean? So what about you?
Matty Lees would be good to see him go up against him. So he don't take a backward step. He's a bit of an enforcer. So I think, those two could be an interesting matchup. So who else have we got? I'm trying to think.
Oh, I know. Paul Vaughan.
Yeah.
See them two smashing in. And Musgrove as well, just absolutely smashing into each other. That'd be great.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing him on the pitch playing Super League. I don't think he's here for a quick payday. I think he's going to make a difference. It's not going to be who's it fucking who came over to OKR years ago? Willie Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah. He he didn't. Was it Hull FC? No, it was OKR when Willie Mason came over and he was just like, everyone were expecting massive things from him. He was just an absolute pudding at that point of his career and just couldn't play anymore. And, it was shocking. Right, number 6 then, we got Willie Isa, also age 35. He's going around for one more season.
One more time.
He's been a solid player, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a stalwart at Wigan for years.
I forgot how long he's actually been at Wigan. He's been there absolutely years, hasn't he? 300 career appearances.
Yeah.
Over 200 for Wigan.
And a massive crowd favourite.
Yeah,
the Wigan fans love him, and I'm talking like women want to be married to him and men want to be him, it's that kind of thing. So they'll love the fact that he's going around again, and he definitely brings something. I think he can cut it. Whether he'll set the league alight, I don't think so.
Well, no, he's not going to set the league alight anymore, is he? But like you said, every team needs a player that's just gonna no nonsense, no cheap frills. You just do our job, and he'll do it week in, week out. Hopefully stays injury-free. He suffered with injury last year. I think he'll be all right. I think another good year from him next year.
Just a little side story on that. Am I right in thinking Liam Farrell has pulled the plug and he's out? Or is that some spam story?
That's spam.
All right.
Spam a lot.
Oh, well, here's a rumour. Started now.
Do you know? With Wigan, I've noticed there's a couple of websites that just throw out bullshit. Ben French is going to NR. It's like I don't know if there's like some Saints fan with a massive vendetta against Wigan.
Well, there's a few of them.
But yeah, well, definitely. But yeah, there's a couple of sites that just throw out junk news stories about Wigan all the time. So yeah, you've got to be careful what you're reading, actually.
Okay, moving on to the next one then.
In at number 5, Stefan Ratchford at 36 years old. He's going around another season at the Halliwell Jones. Suffered a horrendous injury last year. Just the fact that he's lacing up again and going around again, I think it's good to see. I've never been his biggest fan, but he is a solid player.
No, I am a fan of Stefan.
Yeah, I know you are. You're a real big fan of his.
I'm a big fan of his versatility and the fact that such a slight player can do as well as he has. I mean, don't forget, multiple England international. Just I think he's a great player, and I'm actually a little bit shocked that he's going around again after that. I think 12 fractures in his cheek or something.
It was terrible. Yeah, really bad.
And I remember, a story in the news where he was talking about like the distress that caused him, not just the pain, but the mental anguish and the fact that he can't play again. And I think to go around again, he's incredibly brave, really brave. But I think being part of that Warrington setup is like we are on the precipice of something great, and I don't want to miss out on that after years of not quite being there. So I get it. I am surprised, and I just wish him the best of luck. And I'll be keeping an eye out. He has become a bit of a fringe player at Warrington. He's not a guaranteed, spot in the team anymore. So, but if you've got him on your bench or as the 18th man, you've got a solid team, haven't you?
Nothing more to add to that. I think you're a very good.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, you nailed it. Right, number 4, Leroy Cudjoe, age 36, going around again for hometown club Huddersfield Giants. I'm not sure about this one.
Why?
Because Huddersfield last year, they just looked. They looked tired. They looked disjointed. I know he's been there a long time, so I just kind of think the Huddersfield needed a real reset this year. Just bring in a load of new players. I think they need to bring in some young blood. Just move away from the old mould that they had. Leroy Cudjoe's a great player. He's been a great servant for Huddersfield. I think a Championship or a League One club would have done really well with him. I don't know if Huddersfield is going to be right for him for another year. Well,
yeah, I mean, there were parts of the season last year where I think Leroy Cudjoe was the cement that held Huddersfield together, although they were very fractured and, they had a very fractured season. And he's definitely like the last of a Huddersfield era that actually was pushing for silverware at one point.
Yeah.
The McIlorum, the Cudjoe, that kind of era.
They've played right back when like Danny Brough were playing for Huddersfield. That seems like worlds away now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Danny Brough in the news this week as well. His son signed for a Super League team. But yeah, it's that era. I agree with you. I think a championship club, any championship club, he could have absolutely torn it up in the championship. He's obviously decided to stay at Huddersfield, his hometown club. Wish him all the best. I think he's going to be a little bit of a fringe player again this season, in his final season, but wish him all the best.
Yeah, all right. Number 3 then, Mickey McIlorum. This one was a shock. Age 36, signed for Hull KI. Is it a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal? 1-year deal at Craven Park. Look, Hull KI, they're just like riding this wave out there, popularity at the minute. He's a good signing for him. I don't know. It shocked me, this one. I thought he would have seen out his career in Catalan. I believe he's settled in Catalan now, so that's obviously where he's going to live, I think, after his career is up. So, yeah, a little bit of a surprise with this one.
What, you mean he's not gone man to Wigan?
No.
Stayed in the south of France.
He's got a vineyard in the south of France. Genuinely has, and he speaks fluent French now.
Right, my take on this. So, first thing, I would have liked to see Mickey Mack go against Waerea-Hargreaves. I'd have liked to see that. That's not going to happen. On the same.
I didn't even think about that. Not have they signed one enforcer. They scored 2.
Yeah. Well, and you could argue, like with some of the players that moved on for Hull KR, that they are kind of missing perhaps that I'll call it an enforcer, but really what we're talking about is someone that that oozes like fear. That the opposition are going to be nervous of, niggling.
Yeah.
And then you look at the hookers' location. So Matt Parcell did an amazing job at Hull KR. He's now moved on, going back to Australia to pursue his professional career as a quantitative surveyor. So they're missing a hooker there. You've then got Jez Litton, an amazing talent, all right, but he's not a Mickey Mac.
No,
Litton,
they'll rotate, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, Jez Litton, they'll niggle him, they'll have a go at him, they'll try and put him off his game. He's never going to sort of lay someone out, on the pitch. He's going to have to use his pace and skill to kind of work around that. Mickey Mack will just clear him out with a massive tackle. You know what I mean? So two different styles at hooker there, and it'll be interesting to see how they play them throughout the game. It's a method that lots of clubs are using now, where they've got multiple hookers on the bench, and they'll rotate them, and sort of almost contrasting styles to try and break teams down. Teams don't really know what's happening next because we've got contrasting styles. So I think it's a great acquisition for Hull KR. He doesn't seem to be getting tired, and he's still banging out loads of tackles, and he's still running well. And
he's still the same player he was at Wigan, really, isn't he?
Yeah,
and when he went to Catalan, I would kind of thought he's probably coming to the end of his career now. He's winding down. Yeah, you're right. He hasn't. He drove that Catalan side forward for many years. Quickly, Hull KR top 3 finish next year. Yes or no? Yeah, I agree. I think they're just building on what they already did last year. Going to be right up there. I'd say first or second next year.
Okay, quickly, right? Warrington Wolves top 3 finish next year. Yes or no?
Yes.
Ooh, interesting.
Wigan, KR, Wire, top 3.
All right. Well,
Saints will be back up there.
Getting ahead of ourselves, our prediction video.
Yeah, we'll do a full tipster video later on. I think we'll look at every side. Right, Ryan Hall back to his hometown club. I used to play against Ryan Hall, by the way. Back to Leeds Rhinos. He's at age 37. This guy's still got it. 100%. This guy has still got it. He's the second oldest player in Super League, and last year he was the top ball carrier in Super League, 513 carries. He was averaging 19 carries per game for somebody that's at age 37. Unbelievable. And I really like the fact that he's gone back to Leeds to finish his career. And if Leeds ever needed a player, he's the player that they need right now, I think.
Oh, Jamie Peacock. But anyway,
so Jamie Peacock. Wheel him back out. You've got a few more grey hairs.
That ilk. Right, completely agree with what you're saying. I am nervous about one thing. Leeds is a very different culture than what it was when you had the golden era there, which included Ryan Hall. I hope he doesn't get there and just feels a little bit dejected or a little bit disappointed in the culture or whatever. I'm not saying that, I think with Brad Arthur, Jamie Langley coming in, I think it's going to be a different environment to be in. I'm just nervous that he's going to get there. He's promising this amazing season to go out on, and he just gets, it just off pitch stuff gets in the way.
Leeds haven't signed that many players yet, have they? It's been a bit of a slow burner at Leeds. I just don't think they're given the money, They seem to throw money at coaching staff. Brad Arthur can't be cheap. I like his style. I saw a little bit of that Spirit of the Rhino documentary with him on, and he takes no shit, does he? He just gets in. I think he'll fit really well, Rhino, back into that environment. But I think he'll be one of their natural leaders next year, definitely.
Yep. Really, I love watching him. I love it when he takes that drive. Very, very important first or second tackle, and then he's just like blowing. He's like sucking.
It's
in.
like a massive bull, isn't he?
And he's just like, you think, fucking hell, he's done, and then he cracks on and does it again. Brilliant to watch.
Just touching on Rhino. I did used to play against him. He played for Ulton Raiders when I used to play for Whipsy, and he used to play on wing there. And we always used to look at him going,
how big is he?
Why is the guy on the wing as big as the prop forward? Like, what's going on here? And he used to wear these, padded cycling shorts. So not only were his legs massive.
The torpedo shorts.
yeah, the massive bloody cycling shorts as well. Just make him look even bigger. You just couldn't get your arms around him. Anyway, right, Chris Hill, number 1, the oldest player in Super League at 37. Look, I was a little bit critical of him last year when he got picked for the England side because I don't think he warranted that
This
England
year?
shirt.
This year?
Yeah. Sorry, this year. I didn't think he warranted that England spot this year. I mean, he didn't actually get picked in the end. He didn't make the 20-man squad. But he's gone to Salford, and I think he'll do a job for Salford if
Salford exists.
If Salford is still on the pitch next year, which I hope they are. But, he's just a steady Eddie, isn't he, Chris Hill? He just there's not much more you can say about him. He won't set the world alight. He'll take you God knows how many drives per game. He's got a good engine on him. Yeah, decent. I think he'll go well.
Yeah, agree with that. I'd give him a little bit more credit in saying, like, in his drives, he usually finds his elbows and knees. He's usually got a relatively quick play of the ball. You've definitely got to account for him wherever he's running.
I'll add to that as well. He's also good with an offload. He can go into a tackle, attract a couple of players, and still get an offload out there sometimes. So yeah, I think that'll work well for them as well.
Yeah, I'll come at this one at a slightly different angle. It's too good for the Championship.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, not belittling what happens in the Championship. You know what I mean? I mean, it would just run amok in the Championship, I believe. But so therefore, it needs to be a Super League club, and I think he'll do all right. Like you say, he's going to do all right. He's going to give them a solid platform to work off, keep the young bucks in tow, probably inspire them off the pitch as well. As alluded to by Sean Wayne in the run up to the England series. So, I look forward to seeing him playing.
So that's the top 10 oldest players in Super League then.